And it's about 30 minutes done. Still publishing the broadcast. Not 60% done. We're gonna be stupid. Alright, is it live on my channel? I'm gonna go check. Gonna go to X-Row Obsidian. Gonna go to my channel. Is it live? Yep, we're live. And I'm gonna share it to Xrovia and Caveton. Alright, first I'm gonna do Xrovia. Then we'll start in a few minutes here. Notification squad. Podcast. The podcast is starting in 9 minutes. Hope many of y'all will show up. Heart. Edit message. Okay. Now I gotta ping everyone in Caveton. Stream is going up. I'm checking the stream. Oh, it's showing my Discord and all that. Alright. Okay. Gonna ping Leah, Omega, Domestic, Fraud, Gamer. Anyone else you can think of that would want to show up? Bowman, Drago, Direwolf, Vixie, Evan. Alright. KS. There we go. Our podcast is starting. Alright. So, welcome everyone to stream. Glad y'all showed up. So how we're gonna do this is we're gonna have y'all suggest topics for us to talk about in chat. Okay? And then whichever one we think is the best we'll do. Alright? Sure. I'll let you do it. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Alright. Just telling people in Xrovia to check it out too. Okay. Alright, there's 3 people watching right now. I'll refresh stream, see if I got any more viewers. No, still 3 people. Alright. Bedrock live stream in like an hour or two. And no one showed up to that.
What are you playing?
I think I'm probably just gonna play Treasure Wars.
I mean, after the podcast, I'll be on my phone and my opinion.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that, you should see what I would do.
Leah's gonna show up in stream in about a minute. 4 minutes until we start up. Yeah, Leah's so freaking exhausted. I wonder what she's gonna come up with. Probably. Yeah. Pretty unfortunate. Unfortunate callback. Join the stream and suggest topics. Alright. Yeah. Because I am setting up stream. Well, I think we should, me and Drago should probably go in a DM call, or table for two, or somewhere.
I mean, yeah, I can drag you back there if you want to.
Alright, drag us. There we go. So, we starting up the podcast now. I'll let you do the intro. Yeah. I'm gonna play Treasure Wars for the stream. Yeah, it's just that I'm really big on mental stimulation, you know. When I'm doing something, I gotta play a game. Something that interests me. Just waiting for the people in the stream to suggest something. Alright. I think Leah's in the stream. Alright. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Okay, say something. Yeah, they can hear you. Because they can hear the desktop stuff. Oof. Alright. And you wanna do the intro right now?
Yeah, I'll do it the moment they get going.
OMG, it's a mineral in chat. A mineral is in the stream chat right now. Very nutritious. Alright, so you ready to do the intro? It's 3:59. Today's topic, I'm gonna scroll up and check. So the first thing that was suggested was, what is the favorite retro game of everyone currently on the podcast? You want to go first, or should I go first? I'm not sure.
Should look.
Basically, I think that there's two ways of looking at it. The date that it was made and the art style. You should probably give an answer to each of those.
Alright. So I'm assuming the art style is more pixelated.
Hey, you guys, you need to find a way to turn up your volume more. 'Cause nobody can hear you on stream.
Oh, okay, I'll do it. Hang on.
Okay, that's all I
Alright.
say. Other than that, you're
Alright, the
great.
volume. I turned the volume up. Can you hear me better?
I gotta wait for it to load. Hold on.
Alright. I just turned up
Alright.
my volume all the way.
You check the chat for us.
Alright. Okay. Sorry for the audio issues. We are fixing them. Okay.
Alright.
So I got both my mic audio and the desktop audio turned up.
Alright, I hope they can hear me.
Alright. Leah, could you wait a second and see if it's better? Or is she gone?
I don't know exactly. I don't try to talk way too loud because again, it's like we're in the afternoon, some people are still sleeping because
Yeah, I'm just
so
gonna
that's not much to do.
wait and see if there's any other issues.
Alright, are we good to continue?
I think we might be. Alright.
Alright, so as I said, the
Alright,
question was, like,
Drago,
what
you're
was,
still
like,
quiet. Hang on,
Well-
I'm gonna turn him up to 200%.
You sound just fine, but Drago was really quiet.
Alright, I just turned him up to 200%. He should be 2 times as loud.
Alright, cool.
Okay. And then
Alright.
after we fix these issues, we'll get back into the topic.
Let's hope that it works, I guess.
Yeah, I can hear you a lot more crisply now.
Alright, that works.
Alright. I'm just gonna wait,
So,
see if Leah comes back.
alright, let's hope that it works. I mean, this is our first episode, so we're just gonna do some, like, we're just doing some testing to make sure everything works fine. We don't want to have, like, a moment where no one can hear us.
Because that'd be garbage. Y'all don't deserve garbage content. You deserve good content.
Alright.
Okay, wonder if Leah's gonna come back.
Let's hope it works well.
Okay.
Going to go ahead and sit in a chair.
Sitting in an armchair by the fireplace.
Alright.
That'd be pretty cool.
A fireplace at this time? Man, it's like 100 degrees outside.
And I'm just saying, like in the winter, just imagine you're sitting by the fireside doing the podcast.
Even in the winter, it's like still 80 degrees out.
Because of where you live. Where's that?
It's the middle of the desert.
Oh,
Where
fun.
else?
Florida?
Oh.
Where is it?
I wasn't aware Florida was a desert. I just thought it was just some random place where the weirdest things happen.
Florida isn't a desert, it's just real hot.
It's more tropical, actually.
Alright, I think we're getting off topic with that.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and get back on topic. The topic was, what was our favorite retro game?
Alright. Our
And
favorite...
I posed a counter question that, what is a retro game exactly? Is it defined by the art style? Or is it like, does it have something to do with like the way it looks, the way it plays? Like, what is a retro game? Because I'm not
I think
exactly
the
sure
way
what
that
defines
we
it.
should tackle this question is to look at it from both the date it was made and the art style. I would say for the date, anything before 2010 or so is a retro game.
So anything before 2010.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, anything that was made before 2010.
Are you sure? Any game before 2010?
Probably, yeah. Like Flash games, Mario games, stuff like that. Like, that's the reason I said 2010. It's because I wanted to include Flash games. They're pretty retro.
Alright, well, just doing some research here. Retro gaming, also known as classic gaming and old school gaming, is the playing or collecting of older personal computer, console, or arcade video games in contemporary times. It's usually based upon systems that are obsolete or discontinued. So basically, any console that's basically out of use. That
Right.
includes, like, things like,
I would say that includes Flash games, right? Like, Flash games are kind of out of use.
yeah, Flash games would probably count, and that would also include, that would probably include, like, the Wii nowadays. That would also include things like the GameCube, the Sega Genesis,
So basically before
NES, all these old
2010
consoles that
mostly.
people. Yeah, basically any game that was like anything that's like out of date, basically. Like normal computer games, like you can't say a Steam game, that won't work.
Yeah. Anything before, like, 10 years ago, I would say that's the
So
general.
this is actually a really difficult question for me because I've had so many different ones. I guess I'll just go broad and say that my favorite games would probably be within the genre of tower defense. Like, do you remember the old tower defense games that people
Oh,
would play
yeah.
on the computer? And those are fun. I played like hundreds of them, from like Bloons Tower Defense to like Storm Winds and all these different ones that are pretty cool.
Mm,
It's definitely a pretty interesting thing at the time.
yeah. So for me, I think what I'd say is there's an answer that I have, but I'm not entirely sure if it's right or not. Like, it might seem kind of cheap. So for my cheap answer, I would say Minecraft, because it is kind of pixelated and it is from before 2010. But that seems kind of cheap because Minecraft isn't widely considered a retro game. So
Well,
I'd say
it depends, because the issue is that retro game is defined by something that's completely obsolete. So it depends on the version. If you're talking about Minecraft on a computer, then it's not an obsolete retro game. It's still big on
yeah.
computers. If
That's
you're
why
talking
I'm
about
saying
Minecraft
that
on
I'm
Xbox
gonna give
360,
another
that has
answer.
become obsolete.
That's why, like I said, that's why I'm gonna give another answer to that question because that one is a little bit cheap. So take both of these with like a grain of salt. So for my second one, not entirely sure. It would have to be a Flash game. Just gonna have a moment to think about it. For my favorite Flash game, I would have to say this is recently obsolete. Like, they stopped making new installments of this game. I would say Breaking the Bank from Henry Stickmin started the whole series.
I guess like the originals could be counted as retro games because they kind of
And
were
the
a bit
game.
also. But again, that's also kind of recent at the same time, though.
The thing about it is that Henry Stickmin is like ended as a series. Like, they're not going to make any more games of it.
Right.
And the
Well,
Breaking the Bank game was made in 2009, so it also qualifies for the 10-year thing.
let's try to make this more interesting. Let's talk about like older like consoles that are completely out of date. Like, let's not even go with computer. Let's talk about like another
Right.
console.
Then I would
Now
have to
looking
say
at these games,
Mario on Nintendo.
which one?
Not sure the first one.
Mm,
I don't have a crap ton of experience with that, but I have played a little bit of Mario, I think. Donkey Kong would have to be a close second.
man, I played games for so long, even when I was little. I remember the first console I had was the Sega Genesis, which was really old. I think I still have
Yeah.
it somewhere. But I played games like the original Sonic games. I had like the first, second, and third one, and the collection on GameCube as well. So I would play like all of these different Sonic games on there. I also remember playing games like the original Pikmin. That was really fun, and Pikmin 2 was also great. They were fun games.
Alright, so you're done with your point right there?
Yeah, essentially. What about you? Do
I
you have
think
any
I'm
games from
pretty much-
older consoles?
Not really. Like, I played the Atari for Mario and Donkey Kong, and that's it. Sorry if I can't give the best answers, but if I said a game, I'd probably be lying, because I didn't really play a lot of them that much.
Alright, so I guess we can go ahead and go more into detail. Like, why are these our favorite games? Like, what makes Mario and Donkey Kong so interesting to you compared to all the other games?
Because they're like the only games that I played from the time.
Yeah, but like, why were they your favorites if you played any other ones? Or was
Just
that literally all?
because. I think that was literally all, but I will say one thing about it, is that those games are really well made. Like, they're made to teach the player the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're pretty good classics. Yeah, for me, the Sonic games are interesting to me because, like, it was kind of like my introduction to gaming and like just the idea of just like platforming under a time limit, you know, defeat enemies in a way, but in general, just try to get to the end as fast as possible, you know, defeat like the mini boss like Eggman or whatever.
Yo, there's a guy in Treasure Wars who just turned on his reach, but I'm not going to talk about that too much because that's not the topic. Alright?
Alright.
Okay. So, is there any
Yeah.
topics, any other topics in chat? Okay, I'll turn off my game. There we go. I'll turn off the game. Alright, so for the topic idea, we have, should all drugs be legalized? Why or why not? Ooh.
That is a very political question, and my response to that is that it's a very controversial question. And there is like some history to it, but it's also a lot of like science and things to that because of course lots of people argue there are benefits, but like you have to weigh the benefits with the problems that those can, and I don't know. I'm kind of like on the border with this question because like it really depends on what it's trying to do. Because like in some cases it can help the economy, but then in the other case it's literally can like take apart people's lives without them realizing. So it's like it's really a borderline question that I do not know how to answer. I really can't give a definitive answer on it because I usually try to keep myself out of these things. What's your opinion on this?
It just... I'm not entirely sure either. What I think about it is that there's the idea of personal liberty involved, which is a good idea, but there's also the idea that, like, these drugs kill tens of thousands of people a year. Like, smoking isn't considered a drug, but I would personally consider it one just because, like, people can get addicted to it. Kills a lot of people, you know what I mean? Same with alcohol. It just seems to me that, like, I don't know, I don't think it should be. Like, the main reason why weed and stuff like that is being legalized is because it brings tax revenue to the government. And it is kind of sinister profiting off of other people's self-destructive behavior, if that makes sense. That's at least my view on it. I hope that gamer doesn't hate me for this. Alright. I think that's all I have to say. Okay, so yeah, we're done with that topic. I'm gonna ask. I know we already have one.
I mean, I could probably go more in depth in the topic and talk about its historical relevance, because like in history, you're familiar with the Opium Wars, right?
Oh yeah, that was a fun topic.
Basically, what happened with that was that it was, well, there were two wars, but I'll talk about mainly the first one. It was a war between like the Europeans and the Chinese over like trade and stuff like that, but like the main cause of it was that what happened was that the Europeans were like growing opium and they were selling it to smugglers smuggled
Yeah,
it
I
into
know.
China, and the Chinese had like a big addiction to opium, which was at first a medicine, but then because of smoking, it became like a drug essentially, and that's what happened. Like essentially, they fought over this stuff because they were smuggling drugs into China, which was a
Mm.
huge problem. And this was like, when was this? Um, it was like in the 1700s or like the 18th century. So this is a kind of old problem. But yeah, stuff about that has happened in the past, and we kind of just look at that to see what has happened.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. There's some serious topics that are being suggested in chat.
Well, this is what you get when you make a podcast about talking.
Yeah, I guess you have to do it. Topic, um, child abuse. Ooh, that's a pretty
This is,
poignant thing.
see, for me, mm, this is a kind of weird question for me, because what is child abuse in a way? Like reprimanding a child, or like actually like torturing one? Like, what, where is the line? Like, you ground a child. Is it considered child abuse to ground them and take away anything they can do, and just like all they can do is like, would that be abuse? Or is it abuse when you physically hit them? Or does it go beyond that? Where is the line? And that's something that's very controversial, and it really depends on like the circumstances, and it's kind of weird. It's such a gray area that no one really knows because everyone has a different opinion on where the line is.
Yeah. So you want me to state my view of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I think you explained it pretty well. It really does depend on what is considered child abuse. But for people who like hit their kids, verbally abuse them, emotionally abuse them, shit like that, they're terrible people. You know what I mean? But like if you ground a kid or something minor like that, then it's not child abuse. It really depends on like what you view as child abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you like tear your kid down and like make them feel bad or you hurt them, that's child abuse. Like if it seriously leaves lasting damage is where I'd say it crosses the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. Like, where does it cause like actual mental or physical like damage?
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing. I mean, one thing I try to bring humor into. So you guys are familiar with like the chancla, right? You know, for those of you that are Latino,
No, I don't. I'm not.
you're not familiar with that.
No.
Basically, basically what would happen is like if a child like misbehaves too much, basically a mother will just use a sandal, and they would
Oh
basically
yeah,
just
they'd beat him.
spank their children as like, they don't actually beat them, it's more like a spank, but it's basically just to
Yeah.
like, it's basically just like a small form of like punishment to basically make
Yeah.
sure a child doesn't do that again.
For me, I
But
just
then
don't really like. Spanking is not a great punishment to me. It's better to just take away all their shit. You know what I mean?
I guess, but then again, some people kind of take pleasure in that, just sleep instead. Like, you get grounded, you sleep, and you just like, well, I have my stuff back, now what?
Well, not necessarily. Like, as they get older, that'd be pretty shitty, especially when they make plans.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Child abuse, if it leaves lasting physical and mental damage, you need to realize that. And if you're doing it, you need to stop.
Yeah.
Alright. So, that's my position on the topic. See if there's any more. Alright.
We need some topics we can talk more about, like
Yeah,
something
Leah
that's like
suggested a
longer.
lot. What is your favorite thing about yourself is her next topic.
My favorite thing about myself. That's a very difficult question. I can't really answer that because I look outwardly at other people to discover things about myself. So it's not something that I can really answer. It's more about other people and how they view me. But in a way, it's also really important to think about like the way you view yourself. So if other people think negatively about you, don't take that too personally because that's just other people.
You good with
I'll have to
your...
think on it for a bit.
Alright. Should I talk while you're thinking?
Go ahead.
Alright. So for my favorite thing about myself, I really don't know. Like Drago said, it's hard to gauge that. Like, you don't know what the positives are about yourself. You could overestimate yourself. There's a lot you could do wrong. So yeah, that's a really difficult question to answer. If I had to guess, I'd probably...
It is a very good question.
Yeah. I'd probably just say Exrovia, like being able to create all that stuff.
I don't know. I think my favorite part about myself is more basically just my personality. Like, although I'm basically an introvert, I'm very outward about it sometimes. And I don't ever try to like push myself too much onto other people. Like, I always try to like listen to what other people have to say. And I think that's one of my favorite parts about myself. Like, I'm usually just there to like listen, give advice. Like, I'm just there to talk and be myself. I'm not there to really make a statement. I'm just here with you guys.
Yeah. So yeah, is that topic and none? Or you got anything else to say about it? Drago, you just died. Can't hear you.
Oh, I did?
Oh, never mind, you didn't die. I can hear
Okay,
you.
good. I didn't want to be a ghost.
Yeah. So, you want to move on to the next topic?
We're just fun topics. I was expecting like one big topic for the last an hour.
That's not really the case, though. Like, it's a bunch of mini stuff people are asking. It's really hard pressed to find something that will last an hour unless it's like a really big topic. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's really
When you ask for like topics that are already like really mainstream, then they've kind of already come up with an answer for that in their heads like before. So like, I don't know, try to come up with something like interesting or like new, something that's like can really make us think.
Alright. Okay, so for the next thing we have, if there is one thing you could change about the world, what would it be? If there was one thing I could change about the world, it would just be people's outlook, you know? I want people to have a more positive outlook on things. Negativity is where a lot of the problems start. You know what
If
I'm
I were to
saying?
change anything, I would change human nature. Naturally, we have a sense of selfishness, like indirectly, like unconsciously, we do things for ourselves. Our sense of self-preservation and stuff is what keeps us alive. But that sense of selfishness, I know it exists for a reason, but sometimes we unintentionally harm other people without thinking about it. And that's something I kind of would like to change because it would really, I feel like it would better society in a way, because then without that, then all of a sudden you have people that are helping each other. So you have more people like coming together rather than arguing about each other. And people will always argue for themselves, thinking that they're always right, even if they're wrong. Like, you see this all the time, where people are arguing about things that are very superficial, and it's like, why is this really a topic of discussion when we can all just come together and put this behind us?
Yeah, you're right. So, I'm good with that. I don't got anything else more to say on it. I think I've expressed my point pretty well. Are you good on it?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I've expressed my point.
Alright. So, the next thing is... Who are you as a person? Ooh, it's pretty interesting one.
Like I
Alright.
mentioned before, it depends on how other people view me, because some people view me differently, and some people view me like it's weird. It's like everyone views me in a different way. And of course, I'm like living like a weird triple life. I have my real life, I have my social life here, and then I have my like educational life over there. Like, it's weird because I have all these different people who view me all these different ways. So, yeah, there's all these different like things that go in.
Mm. Alright, for me, I think the way that I would go about it is I don't really know. Like, I can't really describe myself as a person. That's one thing that I've kind of struggled with throughout my life. Not sure 100% what my identity is. I would probably just base it off my impact more than, like, my individual traits, because that's hard to gauge. Like, I would judge that I was the creator of Xrovia, but I was also the destroyer of Una servers, and if that makes sense. Like, the good with the bad.
Yeah, I feel like that's a question we can't really answer, because when someone answers a question like that, it's all about what they think, but it's not what they actually are, because other people
Mm-hmm.
can like see like what they're actually doing. So, yeah, it's
And
not really a
also,
question
people
for me to
change.
answer. That is also another thing.
People don't stay the same all the time, they change with their personality. Alright, you good?
Yeah, I work good with that.
Okay. Next up. Alright. Next up is divorce. Wow. A lot of
Oh,
interesting
what?
topics.
What is the topic?
Divorce.
Hmm. We're all going to serious
Um,
ground now.
Bet you can guess who they're from.
I don't know how to answer this question because I don't have any experience or anything with it, so I don't really know how it will work.
Yeah. My
Like, I haven't even
parents
gone to the
did.
first step of anything, so...
My parents did divorce, but I was too young to really be impacted all that severely. Like, I was a toddler at the time. I was like 2 years old. But yeah, it's pretty shitty when someone you love, you have a kid with them, and then you end up separating. That's tough because you said like at your wedding day, oh yeah, I want to spend the rest of your life with them, and then it all gets torn apart, and sometimes there are kids caught in the middle of it.
hmm But then, you have to ask the question of, like, why?
Yeah. And there's a lot
So,
of
sometimes there's valid reasons, sometimes there isn't.
Yeah. You know what I don't like though? When people are vindictive about a divorce, like they try to get half of whatever their spouse has that they don't
Mm.
really like have any input
Yeah,
in getting.
that thing really sucks. It's like, when someone gets married, and one person doesn't have anything, and then when there's a divorce, they just demand half of the other person's stuff. It's almost like they're robbing them. So it's
Right?
like, I don't see why it's a thing. Like, you can't just get married and get a divorce immediately after just to take the other person's stuff. Like, that's
Yeah.
just not, this is
That's
not
just
right.
like destroying them legally and then taking their property almost.
That's basically the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think that if you're gonna have a divorce, have it be for good reasons and don't be vindictive about it. Like, don't try to have some bad motives. Alright. So, next up, we have overdose. Jesus.
These are all
Lee,
really serious topics. Like,
yeah, Lee
dang.
is coming up with all of them.
Well, I don't have any experience with anything near that, so I don't know how that would work. But again, like, that's a really dangerous topic in a way. Like, that's like an overdose could kill someone, whether it's like medicine or drugs or alcohol, whatever. Like, if it's too much, then it's really dangerous. But even like in the start, like there's still like the side effects and everything. So I don't know. I can't really talk much about it because then again, like I don't know too much about it. But yeah.
I just think it's pretty shitty. Like, it ties back to the drug thing. It's really part of what destroys people. And it's really just the nail in the coffin for drug addicts. Like, they just end up overdosing and then they freaking die from it, which is awfully shitty. Like, you grow up and you think that you want to live to like 70 or something, and then you die of a drug overdose at age 20 or something.
I had an aunt who overdosed on medicine because they were depressed after getting tired, and because of the overdose, they had a stroke, and it completely destroyed their life.
Yeah, strokes are pretty crap. Like, sometimes it can leave you paralyzed in half your body.
Like seriously, like lots of like overdoses are just like a result of depression and other factors. Like people just, it's basically like a free suicide to some people, so it sucks.
Yeah. Overdose really does tie into a lot of other stuff. It isn't really a large topic on its own. If that makes sense. Like, it ties into drug abuse, it ties into depression. Like, it's not a thing of its own. It's partly all those other factors. And
Well, this got depressing.
But hey, I mean, we gotta do it. They suggested it. Alright. Like, we're gonna do something unless it's like really awful. If that makes sense. Overdosing isn't bad enough to not do, though. Like, considering we've already talked about crap like child abuse. Alright. Next up, we got domestic violence. Jesus Christ.
Dang, you
Leah.
guys are like all about this stuff. Like, do you guys have anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll like talk about this. I guess it's just wrong. I guess it kind of depends on the relationship, but for the most part, it's completely wrong. Like, why?
Like, you should never get to a point in your relationship where you want to enact violence against your partner. Like, regardless if it's a woman or a man, it's still pretty shitty either way. Like, that's not what a relationship is supposed to be. And if you do that, you should probably stop.
I don't know where the violence would even come from, though. Like, the thing about it is, like, really, the question is why. Like, in a relationship, there should be, like, no upper hand. It's both, like, equally working together to, like, you know, unify against yourselves. You're both, like, partners, but, like, when one tries to dominate over the other, and they use physical abuse to enforce that, like, it's no longer a relationship. It's just, like...
It's just an abusive relationship.
At that point, it's almost like holding them hostage in a way. It's like... Yeah, it's not really good.
And at that point, you're just an abuser. You're not a partner. And that's a pretty narrow topic. Like, for domestic violence, it's wrong. There's not a whole lot to say about it.
I know, what's it called? For my college, they actually have a course I have to take every year. Like, it's like a small, like, 15-minute, like, thing. But basically, it talks all about, like, stuff like that, like abusive relationships and, like, how relationships should be. And a mandatory thing by the state, but it really gives some good advice. There's always help out there. So, like, if you're ever in, like, a situation where you're, like, where your partner is, like, you know, like, abusive in some way, or, like, they're not really, like, what's it called? Like, if you feel like you're being pressed down by your partner, there are resources out there to help you. You just have to find them. They're pretty open out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to resolve your problems through violence. All you need to do is just try and, like, talk about it, use your words, don't use your fists. You know what I mean?
Hmm. The pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah. So that's that topic done. Talk about oranges for 10 minutes. Oh, Jesus. Um,
Oranges? You mean the fruit? Or the color?
I think they said oranges, meaning that it's plural. So I think it's the
I mean
fruit.
the fruit. I have an orange in my backyard. I mean, what can I say? Is the color based off the fruit, or is the fruit based off the color? That's a funny question. Um,
It's
have you
like the
seen how
chicken
big
or the
oranges
egg.
are, and how many types of oranges there are? Like, you got oranges, you got tangerines, you got all these different things, like, what's it called, grapefruit and stuff like that. Like, are they still oranges, or... Yeah, it's kind of weird. And then, what's it called? Do you know, I actually, since I have an orange tree in the backyard, like, it's nice and all, but like, of course they attract bugs and stuff, which is, normal if you have a fruit tree.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting about oranges is you can actually use the orange peels as an incense of sorts. You can like burn it to make like an orange scent, or you can use that for like for some different things. I know you can use the oranges to make like orange jello, orange flavored cake. Ooh, orange flavored lemon cake is good.
Yeah.
Hmm. What about you, Edward? What do you have to say about it?
They're round. They have a pretty good um they're pretty good ball shape. You know, they're the color orange, like you pointed out. They're magnificent. Um, they can be shiny sometimes. They could be rough. They could be coarse. They could be fine. They could. There's a lot of stuff about oranges. You know, they sometimes they're used to make orange juice. Sometimes they're used to make jokes about you being orange. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you could do with it. You could make fun of somebody. You could work with it. You can make fun of somebody, and you can make fun of somebody. Did I mention you can make fun of somebody? Um,
Would you like me to continue talking about oranges? Because I can keep going. What's it called? If you think bananas are slippery, you've probably never seen an orange.
yeah. Oh
Like,
wait, that
they
brings
are
me to
round
something.
already, but when
I
you
heard of a
step on it and it
case.
squishes, juice.
Yeah, I've heard
It's
of a
slippery.
case where somebody died from slipping on an orange peel. It was the second dude who survived going through Niagara Falls.
Oof. Yeah,
Yeah.
orange peels are painful.
Imagine just dying to an orange peel slipping on them.
It is
Like, that's
possible.
actually
You
good.
can die just from slipping on a banana, so I'm pretty sure you can die from slipping on an orange.
Yep. It's kind of
They
funny.
may seem like they're really hard outside, but in reality, very, very squishy. They're just giant lemons.
Yeah.
Tasty, but yeah.
Speaking of orange, I'm on orange team.
Have you guys ever tried a tiny orange, like the mini oranges?
Oh
Those are
yeah,
actually really good.
those are so
Yeah,
sweet. I love them. The tangerines and the
yeah,
clementines.
they are great.
They're probably great for you too.
Mm-hmm. When you like open an orange, like how do you eat it? Do you like peel off the thing and then like take out individual slices, like how it's pre-cut by nature, or do you just like bite out of it?
Not sure, but there's a guy right here that's trying to stop me from getting this trick. But yeah, I think
You
they're pre-sliced by nature most of the time.
Yeah. You just like open it up, you just peel it off of itself and it's like, there you go, you have like a little orange slice already pre-made. And of
Yeah,
course, the most annoying thing about eating them is the seeds. You're just like, you're enjoying the flavor and suddenly the seed crunch. You're like, oh man.
and yep,
Oh yeah, and orange leaves are also pretty neat too. Like, the leaves of an
yeah.
orange tree, they also have a distinct smell to them. They smell like orange peels. Like, if you ever smell an orange peel, it has a certain smell to it. Like, that's what the leaves smell like. And it's like, it's actually really good for like a smell. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know how to describe the smell. It's like so unique.
Yeah, I love the orange smell.
It's yeah, like you know the smell of oranges, right? Have you ever smelled an orange leaf? It's
Yep,
like a hint of orange. Just that little hint. But it has like
yep,
this weird plant smell to it.
yep. Oranges are just really citric too. Like they're not as citric as lemons, but they're pretty citric, and
Mm.
it's like they taste good
Well,
and they're good
yeah.
for you.
Mm. Too much of anything is a bad thing though, so don't eat
Yeah.
oranges
Like don't be an
24/7.
orange addict. Eat other stuff too.
Mhm.
Like
Have you heard
becoming a
have you heard of
vegetarian.
have you heard of the case where that one guy died from eating too many carrots?
No.
Like he ate exclusively carrots for a diet, and he ended up dying from an overdose of the things that were in the carrots. Like his
Yeah.
skin turned orange and everything.
I heard that like becoming a vegetarian or something like that isn't good for you. Like your body is
Well,
supposed to have some
it
meat.
it depends. It depends overall, but for the most part, humans by nature are omnivores. So they're supposed to eat some of both in a way.
Yeah.
Hmm. We shouldn't be exclusively eating one thing over the other. It should be a little bit of both in some way.
Mm,
There is like nowadays there's kind of like a movement for like vegetarian products. Like now they have like vegetarian chicken nuggets,
it's a
which are
fad.
weird. Wait, yeah, I mean it is interesting. It is kind of a good thing sometimes. But, you know, there's alternatives to certain things. Like I don't know if they finished their study on this, but they're actually making artificial meat nowadays. Like
Yeah, they're
not
growing it in
plastic meat, but
test
like they're
tubes.
like yeah, in a way, like they make these cells, and these cells basically just grow into the shape of patties or whatever. So I think
Kind of
that's something
cool.
that's kind of interesting,
Yeah.
as
I
long as it
mean,
doesn't come alive.
as long as it's not just horrible, like it doesn't have horrible side effects or something, then it's fine.
Probably shouldn't.
Yeah. So good
Alright,
enough.
any other interesting topics?
And the next topic is whoa, gun violence. That's a pretty hot one.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up right now. Um, if you take away guns, people are still gonna find any reason to fight each other.
Yeah.
Whether it's with
It's
knives,
just my
sticks, or
opinion
anything.
on it.
It's always
Is
gonna
that
happen. So if you take it away, people will find some other tool. Like look
yeah.
at other countries that have banned guns. They still have like they still
They
have
have
violence from
like
like literally anything
instead
else.
of school shootings, there's shit like school stabbings and stuff like that that end up happening a lot of the
Hmm.
time.
Like it's just a tool that people will use to hurt other people.
Yeah.
You don't solve a problem by taking away the tool. You solve the problem at its source, which is the people themselves.
Yeah. You need to either catch
That's
them
my
before it
opinion on it.
happens.
It's not the guns. It's the them.
Yeah, it's the people that use them is the main problem. You don't like either what you do is you solve the mental issue before they get to that point, or that you catch them before like they go to the school. You look for warning signs.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And don't be
Yep.
oblivious to what's going on. Yeah, I think for gun violence, it really a lot of stuff is subjective, and I don't think that you should take away the gun just because it looks scary. Like some people use it for self-defense, and that's a good thing. And other people like use it for really bad shit. But people who really want a gun to use it for illegal shit are probably gonna get it no matter what. There'd be illegal
Pretty
gun
much
ranges.
because yeah, because people will find ways to do anything really. Like if you just look at like all these different things going on, like people will find ways to do things you probably didn't even think were like possible. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
The thing about guns is just like if you took them away, all you would be taking away is the people who legally got them. You know what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
people who illegally got them are still gonna get them no matter what.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and
And then
if you look at it, like the strictest gun laws, like the areas that have the strictest stuff has a higher crime rate and shit like that most of the time.
That is also kind of true. When you apply more rules, it really pushes people more.
Yeah. Look at Switzerland. Like, virtually everyone there owns a gun, and crime is almost next to nothing.
Yeah, Switzerland, isn't that the country that was completely out of both world wars?
Yeah. They're heavily
Yeah,
militarized
it's
to
like
protect
literally that
themselves.
peaceful over there.
Yeah. I heard they have a plan to, like, blow up every bridge in the country if they ever get invaded.
What's it called? And still, on the issue of gun violence, like, if you're gonna ban guns, does that also apply to like airsoft guns and Nerf guns, like toys and stuff? Like how far would that even go?
I think the main thing about people talking about banning guns is just because it's scary. Like, they look scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but even then, they've never actually tried it.
Yeah. Like,
Like,
someone
have you ever been to a shooting range before?
No, I have not.
I've been to one once. It's actually not that bad. It's actually pretty fun.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
that.
there's a difference between the sport and the actual use of one.
Yeah. It's just people could use a chicken or not chicken. Sorry, I'm an idiot. They could use a kitchen knife or something to kill someone. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what
pretty
are they gonna
much.
do? Are
The
they
most
gonna ban
obsolete of
them?
tools.
Like, it's easy to say, oh yeah, ban this one thing. I just think it's kind of scapegoating. Like, it's pinning the issue on guns when it could really be anything. So yeah, at least that's my opinion on it. Gamers probably gonna hate me for that one as well. Because, you know him, he's like really for those things, you know what I mean? And
It's fine for people to have different opinions. It's just a way for things to work.
yeah. So we done with that one?
I guess.
Alright, so okay, so there's the next topic is kiwis. Oh wow.
The bird or the fruit?
Probably the fruit, the two types of kiwis, the fruit and the bird, you know.
I guess we'll talk about both.
Yeah, you know,
Have you ever seen that one meme? That meme where they like, it was a meme where it was like a kiwi, the bird, but they took a slice out of it and it was the fruit.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's so weird how they're both spelled the same. You never know which is which. So, have you ever tasted a kiwi before?
No, I have not.
They are good. Like, they have this super sweet and like sour kind of taste to them that's like really like nice. And it's really weird. Like, the texture they have, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. For me, I would just, I haven't eaten one in a while, so this might be wrong, but I describe it like almost like a weird crunchy jelly, but it does have the seeds and stuff inside. It's like, it's a really weird and interesting like texture to it. And it on the inside, it's like an avocado without the seed. It's like, it's all grown against like the skin and everything, so it's not like an orange where it comes out in slices. It's like an entire fruit, like an apple in a way, but it doesn't have a core in a way. So you're just like, you just eat it. And like, it's weird because the skin is like that of an orange. You can like peel it away and everything, but it's like thin, so it comes with like paper and it can bend and all that, and it doesn't tear. And what makes it even weirder is like the inside is green but the outside is brown, and that brown outside where the skin is, the fruit actually has hair, which is weird. Like, lots of other fruit have hair too, but like for the kiwi, the hair is like actual like hair growing out, like it's long, which is
That's
weird.
funny.
It's like really fuzzy. It looks like peach fur in a way. Just
People
a
are
little
talking
long.
about how like only mammals have hair, but nah. Looks like there's some on plants too.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, even reptiles have hair. You just have to look for it.
Yeah, it's just like not a lot. The main difference between reptiles is just like they're not warm-blooded and crap.
Yeah. I guess there's a lot of differences, but that's not the topic.
Yeah, it's not tough.
We're talking about kiwis.
Yeah.
I guess I'll talk about the bird then.
Yeah.
Kiwis are weird. I'm actually gonna look up how a kiwi looks like and how their like skeletal structure works.
I really
Because
don't know anything about the bird,
if you
so
look
I'll
at a
let you do.
kiwi, they don't have wings.
They
In
don't?
fact, I don't think they even have arms.
Oh,
Hold on,
weird.
kiwi skeleton wings? Do they? Okay, their wings are like they're like tucked in almost completely against their like rib cage.
Damn.
Like they don't use it at all. And what's weird is that well, they have like really strong legs and everything, and you know they're like on an island where they don't encounter too much, but like their long snout is for like reaching into holes where insects bury because that's their main food source. But another thing that's weird about like kiwi is like, have you seen the size of their eggs?
No.
The egg literally fills the entire inside of their rib cage.
Poor bird.
It's the size of the actual bird itself. It's like, dang.
Jesus. Like that's gotta be terrible. Their
Like,
poor
imagine carrying a
organs.
child that was the size of your entire abdomen. That's how big their egg is.
Yeah, their organs would be squished like it would almost be impossible to live.
I
Why
mean,
would animals evolve that way? It just doesn't make sense.
well, it kind of depends. Like, keep in mind that the kiwis were kind of like raised in an area. They're like dodo birds in a way, because dodo birds, they didn't have any predators, so they really lost their main features of like birds, like the ability to fly and stuff like that. So they just walked around. But they didn't have any predators, so they just evolved to adapt to not having predators and you know being lazy or whatever. But when they have a single like egg, like a large egg, what happens is that they have a mentality to protect that one egg. Like sea turtles and stuff, they lay millions or thousands of eggs, right? And they leave
Yeah, and
because
they
there's
don't
so
give a
many
crap,
that
and
they
only
will they
like
come back. But in this
40
case,
survive.
yeah, in this case, it's one big egg. So it's this that creature's duty to protect their child, their egg, because it's just one single child. So that's the way that that works. Like in human
They'd
nature, you only
have
have
to
like
like
so many children, so you have a duty to protect those children. If you had like 100, you wouldn't care anymore.
mm,
So it's really a evolutionary trait for most creatures.
I think it's just part of it as well is that they have to have like more than one child though, or else the species would die out. So like, would they take
Oh.
care of one at a time, or how does that work?
Yeah, that I guess that's also something because I know that happens for a lot of creatures. It kind of
Mm.
just depends.
And I'm pretty sure the replacement rate, like how many children you need to have for it to be above replacement levels, which would be like 2.1.
Hmm.
The reason why you gotta have it be 2.1 is like people who don't make it to adulthood. And that's why the 2 doesn't work.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think we're done with this topic.
All right, you could probably go for a few more topics since we're almost out of time here.
Talk about women.
Here's the legendary question.
Yeah.
Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but I'm gonna be honest. I've never had a girlfriend.
Same here.
So we're both in the same boat.
Yeah. You just can't stop thinking about women. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know what to say about this topic because, again, I'm completely inexperienced. I don't know that much. I mean, for me, it's like a person something. They're human. I don't need to really.
Yeah, they're aliens. Yeah.
Like, I
They're,
don't really
they're
know what
fun
to
to
say
make
about this
jokes about.
topic.
They're fun to make jokes about, though.
I guess.
Yeah. Guess what? I
mean-
heard somewhere that the ratio of men to women that are born isn't 50-50. It's like 52-48.
For which, like the females or the males? Like, are there like more females than males?
No, more males than females. And the
That's
reason
weird.
why is because the males are like prone to do more dangerous stuff and live not as long.
I guess that could be a factor. When I was back in high school, like the school was made on.
What? Drago, you died. You died. Drago, you died. Drago, you died. Your mic isn't working. Sorry guys, we're having some technical difficulties. Just waiting for him to come back.
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back. Yeah, you died
Alright.
for a second.
Yeah, I noticed. So, about the topic, like, what about the topic are we talking about? Like, the topic is just women, but, like, what about them?
I don't know, Omega suggested it.
Yeah, but, like, what about them? Like, what do we want to talk about them?
Just whatever, I guess, women.
Because I don't really have much to talk about in that case. Like, I don't know, they're human, they're the other gender, like,
Yeah, they're aliens.
what is there to say?
They're aliens from
Like-
space and they're here to kill us. Yeah, guess that's it. Should we do one more topic before we get off?
I guess. If you guys want to bring that topic again, make sure to be more specific so we can actually talk about it.
Yeah. In the outro, I'll say certain stuff about like bringing back topics, you know.
Alright.
Yeah, let's see what our last topic should be. I'm game. Could you check the stream for me, please? Never mind. I'm good.
Alright, well,
Alright. So for the last topic, we got what happens after death. Another serious topic.
that is an interesting topic, and it's a topic I have put a lot of time thinking about.
Yeah.
And I think the real question is, what do you do with the life you have been given? You can assume that there's another life afterwards. What are you going to do about the one that you have right now?
Yeah.
And
You gotta live
the
in the moment.
question is, most people think they want to be big, and like they want to be known. Like lots of people have a fear of being forgotten. But do you really like?
It doesn't hurt you to be forgotten, though. Like it.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Like, what does that give you? Like lots of
just
people live their lives and they
the
don't
natural
want
human
they don't
sense
want
of
to be
grandeur.
known. They just want to live.
You know what I'm saying? Like some people just have a natural sense of like, oh yeah, I want to be remembered, because that's
They want to
what-
be like Alexander the Great, but who was Alexander the Great? That's the thing.
Yeah. The thing about it is just humans are meant to want people to think about them because that benefits them in social situations. It's part of our wiring.
Yeah, for most cases at least. But there are lots of cases out there where it's like,
What'll
Like-
happen to you after death? I would say it doesn't matter yet. Like you could be religious, you could not be religious, whatever one is fine. But
it's
think about your
it's
life
a really
first.
great topic.
Yeah. You'll get
Yeah.
to it when you get to it, you know.
I mean, if I want to be direct about it, there's so many different theories about it, and it's really scary. Like, some people could think, oh, there's an afterlife, right? But if there was an afterlife, how many people would be there?
100 billion. Because 100
Yeah,
billion
there would be
people
so many. And
live.
then if it was an afterlife for animals, too, imagine how many animals would be up there. Like, do you want to be up there with, like, 10
That'd
billion,
be like
I don't know,
almost infinite.
alligators?
Just think about all the bacteria. Like just the bacteria.
Yeah, all the bacteria, that'd be infinite. Like, how much space is up there? Infinite? How are you gonna find your best friend in that infinite loop of creatures up there?
Well, like I said,
And,
pondering that is kind of wasting time, you know.
Yeah. And then there's also, like, people have, like, the idea of, what's it called? They have the idea of, rebirth. So basically when you die, you, like, revive as another human or an animal or whatever. But I think about that as, like, hold up. let's say that if you die and you're reborn as another creature of sorts. The funny thing about that is, well, what if you're reborn as an ant
Yeah,
or an
then that's.
amoeba? Like,
Then you could
you
look
have like
forward
how
to
many days to
having
live?
a short, brutish life, and you're probably gonna die from like a group of wasps attacking and ripping you into pieces.
Mm-hmm. And then you're reborn as something else. Let's say this time you're reborn as a cat. Maybe you're religious, you have 9 lives or whatever. Like, now what?
As
Like,
a cat, you
it's just a
probably
random
just
thing that
be.
keeps moving.
Yeah.
And then there's other theories. If you want
You
to be
could
more
be
of
a
the atheist, you
bacteria.
can. Yeah. And
But
then the atheist standpoint on that is that nothing happens after death, and that's pretty much the scariest outcome in a way. It's probably the most
yeah.
peaceful.
It's just, like I said, there's not a ton of a point to worrying about it yet. Like, you'll
Hmm.
worry about that when you die, you know?
Yeah. For now, just live life. Just be
Yeah.
yourself. Just live. Be the best person you can.
Be the very best that no one ever was!
Oof. All right. I guess that's it for our discussion. Do you want to end it, Edward?
Um, sure.
All right. Go ahead
Thank you
and.
all for watching the podcast. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, do all that good stuff. And if you have a topic that you want to be addressed but it wasn't addressed, then you can address it in the next one. We're going to be holding these weekly. So yeah, Leah, thank you for all the serious topics. Really made us think. And Gamer, if you see this, please don't hate me for my political views.
All right. Well, I'm off to host some maps now.